There's a paradigm shift that's going on within the health and wellness sphere, within the coaching sphere. And this paradigm shift is that this needs to be mind and body health. They're so intrinsically connected. You cannot separate them. Understanding that humans are somatic centered beings first, and we are mental beings second. Our processes happen on a somatic level first, and then on a mental level. We need to understand this mind-body connection a little bit more. That connection is the first step in healing any sort of trauma, in actually becoming the human that you want to be. And so the two different words that I use for mind-body connection is soma and psyche. Your soma is your body, and your psyche is your mind. You could call this the animal and the artist as well. Your soma, or your somatic intelligence, it makes up your emotions and your instincts. Your psyche, it creates the stories, the perceptions on how you view the world. It makes up the lens, the perspective on how you view the world, and also how you view yourself. Understanding that humans are somatic centered beings first, and we are mental beings second. Our processes happen on a somatic level first, and then on a mental level. This is sort of the bottom up model, where in our culture, we live in a world where we try to work with people top down. We try to work with people's mindset. We do talk therapy. And so if you are not working with someone on a somatic level, on an instinctual and an emotional level, you can do as much talk therapy as you want. If someone is stuck in a contracted state, or stuck in a state with unprocessed emotions and a nervous system that is stuck in a defensive state, you're not going to be able to really make a significant change. There's a paradigm shift that's going on within the health and wellness sphere, within the coaching sphere. And this paradigm shift is that this needs to be mind and body health. They're so intrinsically connected. You cannot separate them. We've become such specialists in our culture, so you have to address both. If you only address the body, eventually you're going to have to address the mind. If you only address your mind, you're probably going to have issues with your body, and that's going to significantly diminish your quality of life. You have to address both, and they're so intrinsically connected. When you are wounded on a somatic level, your perception of the world is going to be that of people are out to get me, or there's not enough to go around. To liberate the mind, to actually create beautiful stories, to actually have space, you actually have to free and help someone heal on a somatic level first. It'll be much more longer lasting for people. And so let's get into what are those intelligent processes that our body actually does to help ourselves heal on an instinctual and an emotional level. In our society, we live in a very suppressed culture. Actually, I would say around the world, most cultures are quite suppressed. I want you to think about this. When someone is crying, and maybe you have children, and maybe this comes from a well-intentioned place, if someone is crying, most of the times the first thing we want to do is we want to run over to them, and we want to be like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But really what we're doing is, no, stop. No, don't feel that. I don't want you to feel that pain. And that comes from a well-intentioned place. But as I talked about, children are so sensitive and so in tune with the natural intelligence that moves through them, is that what they are doing is they are actually moving that energy through their system, so they're not holding on to it. So they don't become a ticking time bomb. And so that crying, the yelling, the screaming, or the shaking, or the movement of the body, or the deep breathing, all of those things are considered discharges, somatic discharges, or we call them expressions. Maybe it's laughter, maybe it's crying, maybe it's yelling, maybe it's screaming. All of these different things, they are movements of energy through your system. And a lot of the times, those are the necessary action that your vessel, your body needed to do in the present moment. And so when something traumatic happens to us and we freeze up, we actually don't have space for us to discharge. And in our culture, it's not like we can just be in the middle of the grocery store and, start yelling and crying and screaming. It doesn't work like that. But having a safe space with another person, an empathetic witness, if you've read Body Keeps the Score, healing happens in the presence of an empathetic witness. And so that's why somatic release is another reason why it's very powerful, because it is done with a one person and another person guiding, and having someone there as an empathetic witness, as a guide. You can do a lot of work on yourself, but as humans, we are communal beings and we need each other. And that's the thing that is going to make such a significant difference, because this whole realm of self-help, it's actually, I think it's a lot of bullshit, because we really actually need each other and we co-regulate with each other, meaning that our nervous systems co-regulate. When someone's nervous system is dysregulated and they're around somebody that is an empathetic witness, that is relaxed, that it will hold a neutral space for them, they will actually co-regulate and they will match each other. It's almost like my nervous system is saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay for you. It's okay to let yourself feel that. And that discharge is the thing that happens on a somatic level, that is the message to your body saying, I'm not in the presence of a stressor anymore. That discharge, that release, that crying, that laughing, that screaming, that movement of energy through my body, that temper tantrum that your child is doing, is the message to the body saying, I'm not in the presence of a stressor anymore, and I can relax. And so many people move through the world where things have happened to them and they just throw it in this backpack of undigested experiences, and have not allowed themselves a space to be vulnerable and to discharge, to cry, to be seen, to be held. When people have gone through life, and most of us have held it together for our families, have held it together for our friends, we want to be strong for the people around us. And so we think that being strong is to hold it all in, to hold it all together, to not show any weakness. Our body is actually saying that we're still in the presence of a stressor, because we didn't allow ourselves the space to actually have the somatic discharge, to have the release, to communicate a strong enough message to our system that, okay, we've released this energy, we're not in the presence of a stressor anymore, and I can go about my life. Animals naturally do this. And if they didn't do that discharging process, maybe you've seen some videos of when animals go through a very stressful experience, the first thing they start doing is taking deep belly breaths, shaking uncontrollably. They're literally shaking that energy through their system so they're not stuck in that contracted state. Because if an animal was stuck in that contracted state, is stuck in that state of I'm being eaten alive, it's not going to survive for very long. And so there's so many humans that are stuck in that state. It makes life very difficult. It makes life very difficult. Maybe they're surviving, but are they thriving? I highly doubt it. It also limits our ability to actually relate and develop strong relationships with the people that we love. Is this all making sensation for you guys? I see some heads here coming through. I like it.